Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Ross A. Bespoke Butler School. Today we're continuing our focused look at house management and what it takes to be a house manager. Now we've already looked at creating SOPs, standard operating procedures, and managing household expenses, two very important parts of the house manager role. Today we're going to look at probably the third one. If we call those the big three, I think this is probably the third one, which is going to be maintenance. Because as a house manager, you are ultimately responsible for the maintenance of the property, the vehicles, everything else. We'll do vehicles in a separate one, so I won't get too bogged down with that. But the property maintenance. Now, this is something that, depending on your background, you may well not have had to do before. Because if you come from a more formal butler background, rather than a sort of modern butler house manager, you've been serving the dinners and things like that, and you haven't had to project manage a house extension or anything of those like. So it can be quite daunting. But hopefully I'll be able to help you just to put a few things in place. Obviously this isn't really a sort of a full substitute for training, you know, only talking about a fairly short video, but I'll be coming back to it, and of course there are more full training available, including my own, but there's lots of other really good places that you can get your training. So I'm going to start with talking to you about the simplest stuff. If you are responsible for the maintenance of a property, you need to know everything about that property, every single detail. This leads us very nicely from what we talked about with the SOPs, where we were looking at where everything was, what everything is. This we're more thinking things like wiring, when things were wired, fuse boxes, stopcocks, the maintenance schedules of things like air conditioning units, when the filters need changing, all that kind of stuff. And this is why, if you haven't already watched the SOP video, at this point it might well be worth popping this video in your watch later file and going back to that, because this kind of leads on from that. The same techniques that you use to create the SOPs are the same techniques I would like you to use for your maintenance procedures. So when we're looking at the house and we're trying to assess the maintenance, we have to do it in a logical way. There's no point walking around looking for a leaky roof on a day when it's not raining. There's no point trying to assess the quality of paint finish in the twilight of an evening using a small electric bulb. You know, you've got to be logical. You've got to utilize your time in the best possible way to get things organized and to the standard that the owner, the principal, will expect, which will be a very high standard. If you've got a house that's worth 10, 20, 30 million pounds, you're not going to have the same expectation of maintenance as someone who's got a, shall we say, a normal property, one worth between, you know, £200,000 to £300,000. It's a different way of thinking. Now, in this video, we're going to look at it's going to come up as some slides, so you can read it as well as listen to me, because I thought it's a departure from the normal way that I do the videos, but this one's very information heavy, so it's difficult for you to sort of take all the stuff down that I'm saying. So in a second I'm going to click across, I'm going to bring some slides up for you to look at, and I'm just going to talk over the top. That way you can pause them, you can write them down. It's just going to make it, you know, maybe you can screen capture them or whatever. It's just going to make it a lot easier for you, you know, ongoing. So I'm going to go through that now. As always, if you have any questions, about the video, please pop them down in the comments underneath. I love getting through and reading those comments, and I think most of you have commented before. I think I very rarely miss one. I think I nearly always answer if I can. Please subscribe to the channel, and there's a little bell icon next to subscribe. If you hit that, that means you'll be notified on your YouTube channel whenever I put another video up, and that way you won't miss any. So I'm really hoping you're seeing all of these, and I don't want you to miss any. Okay, right, so on with the presentation, as they say. So the first thing we really need to look at are the skills that a house manager needs when dealing with the maintenance of a property. Communication, organisation, particularization, visualization, realization and completion. That's also the order in which they go in. This simple sort of thought process will take you from conception to completion for all of your projects. The first thing you need to do is accurately communicate with the owner or the principal that you're working for exactly what they want, and then filter that communication to other members of the team who need to understand, to your architects, to your builders, etc., etc. Then you need to organize all the different trades and everything else that's all the different trades, and of course other people that will be involved in the project. This will organization is almost all of what we need to do, but the way we organize things, particularization. Now by that what I mean is looking at the details, looking at the particulars of everything that's going to happen and making sure it's thought through in an analytic process. Visualization, you need to understand what the final product needs to look like. Realization is where you bring that product to fruition, and completion is of course when you finish. So let's look at maintenance schedules and plans. They're not the same thing. When you're planning and when you're scheduling, the two things are very closely linked, but they're not literally the same thing. In the next couple of slides, I'll try to highlight to you the difference between them and the way that they work together. You'll notice that as far as planning is concerned, I'm mostly looking at things like the procedures, the standards and the specifications. So this is all about working out what needs to be done to bring the project to fruition, and who needs to be involved and how we can bring them together. So you'll see that just coming up on the slide now. It's PSPS: problem, specification, procedure and standards. So that's solving the problem, what needs to be done to solve that problem. Now scheduling, however, is your timeline, your utilization, your deliverables, and then of course bringing you through to your completion. Now when I'm talking about your timeline, I mean you literally should create a timeline. And with timelines, really the devil's in the detail. Obviously you'll see this one contains almost no detail at all, but that's because it's purely a hypothetical timeline. But quite simply, it needs to show what needs to be done, by whom and when they need to do it. It's also very important to stick as accurately to this timeline as possible. Now, building problems and maintenance have a tendency to overrun, but that needs to be avoided if at all possible. Now, the correct planning and scheduling should help to prevent those overruns. And once you're on top of all the maintenance problems for the house. It should speed everything up, because once you're caught up, you'll find that maintenance looks after itself to a certain extent. When you think about it, it's quite logical. The better stage of maintenance that a property is kept in, the less maintenance it's going to need. It's a bit like if you go to the gym and keep fit, then you're much less likely to have other health problems. There's a lot of different software and things like that you can use to create these sort of timelines and schedules. But if you don't want to download expensive software, you don't have to. There's a lot of free online calendars like the Google Calendar. I use Google Sheets to do my spreadsheets for this kind of thing. You know, it's all very simple. Then this information, that really needs to then be given to your team. And of course, when I'm talking about your team, I'm talking about the people that you're working on these maintenance projects with. It might be electricians, it might be builders, plumbers. If it's a larger project, it could well be architects and interior designers. Whatever it is, as the house manager, you need to project manage this. Even if there's a project manager, you need to project manage the project manager, because you are the voice of the owner. You are there to be the proxy for the owner. So it's very important that you are always on point to bring these people together and get everything running smoothly. Of course, there's always a lot of talk about what sort of person you need to be a house manager. But realistically, it's not actually what sort of person you need to be. It's just training your brain to work in a certain way. Because the thing you need to be is both a sequential thinker and a lateral thinker. Now, sometimes people think these are opposites, but actually they can run quite well in tandem. A sequential thinker will work a logical thought process from beginning to end and stick very much within that program, which is of course for any maintenance project or any continuation of maintenance within a property a good thing to be. But you also have to be able to cope with the curveballs and the unusual things that could easily happen to you. A tree could come through the roof, and you need to be able to cope with that and think of instant solutions to a problem, and that is being a lateral thinker. So realistically, you need to be both. Well, I hope you found that useful and easy to understand. I tried to put it into the sort of a presentation that's the easiest way to understand. It's a big topic, and it's something that the more times you do it, the easier it gets. For me, in my career, I've probably actually spent more time doing house management than I have formal butlering. I was thinking about this earlier, and it's at the very least a 50-50 split, and that's how it will be for most modern butlers. The next big thing that butlers do a lot is logistics, moving somewhere to somewhere else. Now, that's what the next video I think is going to be about. It's a difficult one. It's something that can be very frustrating, but there are certain techniques and certain things you can do and certain exercises that you can do that will improve your ability with logistics, and that will pay dividends 100-fold when it comes to your clients, because they're going to ask you to do things, and if you can make the impossible happen very, very quickly, they're going to be very, very impressed. Over the years, I've had so many clients say, well, how come you did that so easily? And I've asked other people to do it in the past, and they've taken a long time or not been able to do it at all. it's not because I'm more intelligent, it's not because I've got anything those other people don't have. It's just because with my experience, I have certain procedures. You know, I just have them stored up here in my head, but when you're starting out, it'll be a lot easier for you to have them written down. I implement them and it allows me to do things much faster. It's all about, it's like the military, you know, train hard, fight easy. The more you practice, the better you're going to get. So, thanks very much. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Please do subscribe. Please hit the like button as well. It's really, for me, I want to see that people like these videos. You know, if you don't like them, then there's no point in me doing the videos. So if you like it, please hit the little like icon so I can see that. That'd be very nice. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
As I mentioned in the video, we have a lot more videos that you can watch on the channel. And of course, the Rosse Bespoke Butler School is always very keen to take on new students. So if you'd like some more information, please do go on to visit our website at www.rossebespokebutlers.com. That's rossebespokebutlers.com. And hopefully you can get some more information there. Any questions you have, just pop them in the questions underneath the video. Thank you very much. Please subscribe and goodbye.